So, you're thinking about a career in HVAC, right? And you're probably wondering, what does that actually look like, say, 20 years down the road? Is it all just turning wrenches? Well, today we're going to lay out the exact roadmap. I'm talking about how you can go from day one, your very first gig, all the way up to a six-figure career, one that's way more about brainpower and leadership than just pure physical work. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, let's just get this out of the way. That old stereotype. You know the one, when someone says HVAC, do you immediately picture a guy like roasting in an attic for his entire life? No promotions, no way out? A lot of people do. But let's be real. Is that what this industry is actually like anymore? No way. Not even close. I mean, the myth is that it's this dead end job with a super low ceiling, right? That the physical grind is just forever. But the reality? It's a whole different ballgame. We're talking an industry with a ton of different ways to go. You can get into engineering, project management, even high-level technical sales. And the earning potential is huge. The key thing to get right now is this. That hands-on work, that's your launch pad. It's not where you're supposed to land. All right, so every skyscraper needs a solid foundation, and your career is no different. Let's talk about those first 3 years. This is where you build your base, your core skills. This is the launch pad for everything else we're going to talk about. So, how do you actually build that foundation? It's pretty straightforward, really. Just three key steps. Step one, you've got to get some formal training. That's where you learn the why behind the what, stuff you just can't pick up on the fly. Then, step two, while you're doing that, you need to be knocking out your core certifications. These are what make your resume pop. And finally, step three, you take all that and land your first full-time gig as a tech. Boom, you're in. Okay, let's zoom in on those certifications for a second, because they are super important. Now, things like NAE and OSHA 10, they look great on a resume, for sure. But the EPA Section 608, that one is the real deal. It's not a suggestion, it's a mandatory federal certification if you're going to handle refrigerants, and trust me, you are. Getting that universal cert means you can legally work on pretty much any system out there. You instantly become way more valuable to anyone looking to hire. All right, fast forward 3 years. You've done the work. You went to school, you got your certs, you've been out in the field getting your hands dirty. Now, this is where the fun begins. This is where all that grinding starts to really pay off. You're at a crossroads, and now you get to actually choose where you go next. Yeah, this is the big pivot point. Those early years, the ones that are tough and physical, they've given you something priceless, real-world experience. And now it's time to cash in on that knowledge. It's time to use it to move into a role that's more strategic, pays a lot more, and, let's be honest, is a little easier on your body. It's time to think about your end game. And here they are. We've laid out 5 totally different 20-year plans. First up, the classic, service to manager. Are you a people person? Do you like running the show? That's your path. Or maybe you're more of a tech geek. You love programming? Then you want path B, controls to engineer, where you're literally designing the brains of smart buildings. Path C is for you if you like the idea of manufacturing, working on processes, and maybe one day running a whole plant. Path D, design to project manager, is for the planners, the big picture people. And last but not least, Path E, technical sales. If you can talk to people and you know your tech, the money here can be incredible. The question is, which one sounds like you? So let's do a little deep dive on that first one, the most traditional route, service to management. You know how this goes. You start as a tech, you put in your time, you get really good, and you become the go-to senior tech. From there, you make the jump into leadership. First, maybe a service supervisor, then a branch manager at a big company, something like a Trane. You're not turning wrenches anymore. You're using all that knowledge you gained to manage your crews, handle the budget, and keep clients happy. And the best part? Your pay keeps going up while the back-breaking work goes way, way down. Okay, now for all you tech heads out there, let's talk about the controls path. This is all about building automation systems, the really cool, futuristic stuff. You'll need to layer some serious networking and IT skills on top of your HVAC know-how. The end goal? You could be a controls engineer at a top-tier company. Again, maybe a place like Trane. You'd be the one designing and running the complex smart systems for huge commercial buildings. We're talking high demand, high skill, and you guessed it, high paying. But look, just picking a path isn't going to cut it. To really make it, to get to that six-figure level, you need what we call the grinder's mindset. This is the secret sauce. It's what separates the good techs from the truly great ones. I love this quote from a Trane apprentice. It just nails it. Be a sponge. Think about it. This industry is full of veterans, guys who've been doing this for decades and have seen it all. Your job, especially early on, is to just shut up and soak it all in. Learn from everyone. Because continuous learning isn't just a nice idea. It's mandatory if you want to get ahead.
And here's the other side of that coin. A little tough love from an experienced manager. The grinder always succeeds. Simple as that. This industry rewards hustle. It rewards the person who's willing to work hard, who has that proactive attitude. We're talking about the person who takes the tough jobs, who stays late, who makes sure the job is done right the first time so there are no callbacks.
Okay, and this is the last piece of the mindset. And it's huge, especially if you want to get into management or sales. Being great with your tools isn't enough. You have to start learning the business, the numbers. You need to understand things like KPIs, that's key performance indicators. What's your first-time fix rate? You need to get how job costing works, what gross margin is. Learning this stuff is literally the difference between being a great technician for life and becoming a six-figure leader.
So you've done it all. You built the foundation, you picked your path, you've got the grinder's mindset. So what's the payoff? What's the end game here? Let's talk about what you get for all that hard work.
It all comes down to one word: pivot. The ultimate goal is to pivot. Look, let's be real, those first few years are tough on the body. The whole long-term strategy is to use that hands-on experience as your golden ticket. It's your credential to move into a role that's less about lifting and more about leading. That fieldwork is your entry pass to a desk job, a management role, or a top sales position.
And the financial payoff? Let's talk money. For the people who really follow these paths and put in the work, a six-figure salary isn't some crazy dream. It's kind of the standard. Seriously. Whether you end up as a branch manager, a slick controls engineer, or a top salesperson, pulling in over $100,000 a year is not just possible, it's a totally realistic goal.
So there it is, a clear, step-by-step, 20-year plan. This proves that HVAC isn't just a job, right? It's a massive industry with so many ways to build a fantastic, high-paying, long-term career. So now that you've seen the roadmap, what's your end game?